Hey everybody, this is HG Shaves here. I'm back with another video. Today is day 29 of the 2020 Lather games. Very excited to be done here tomorrow with all this, but today's theme is Oilz, meaning that you must use a soap that only has essential oils added and no fragrance oils. So what I have today is some of Mike's natural soaps, Bergamot Orange Ylang, which if you go to his site, you'll see the soaps that he offers, and he'll put in parentheses EO or FO next to each of them, telling you whether it's scented with fragrance oils or essential oils, or sometimes it might even be a combination of both. But anyway, this one is just essential oils, and as the name implies, citrus and a little floral. I get a lot more floral than citrus, at least off of my little smush that I've smushed into my loading bowl here, but we'll see if it opens up a bit more in the lathering process. I've never used this particular soap before. I've used Mike's a few times before, but not really that much. So let me just show you what else I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using the Rockwell 6S on the 2-plate. The thumbnail is going to make it look like it's the 6C, but it's actually the 6S, which was a kind gift to me from Michael Friedberg, which I'm going to get into a bit later. For the brush, the custom Dogwood Handcrafts Timberwolf knot with the also sort of Michael Friedberg patented extended hourglass shape. For post-shave today, I'm going to be using Chatillon Luxe La Petite Prairie, which is Sean's newest release. So let me just tell you about this side challenge, the daily challenge today for the Lather games, which is we're supposed to do a highlight or tribute to our favorite person on the subreddit. And so because I'm posting this to YouTube and because not all of you are on Reddit, I wanted to do somebody who was on both mediums, both Reddit and YouTube. And so since I've already done the Sugar Daddy appreciation, which was the first day, Sugar's one of my favorites also, I thought I'd do one to Michael Friedberg. That's why I picked this razor and brush for today. He's been a great source of inspiration for me, and we talk from time to time, and he's just a really nice guy, really open-minded guy, educated, well-spoken, all those fantastic things. And it was really great to meet him in person last October at the Louisville meet. That kind of solidified my opinion of him, I guess. So I'll get into more about Friedberg and others. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to wet my face, load up the brush, and bring it back when I start the face lather, and I'll talk to you a bit more in just a second. Okay, we're back after a little bit of lathering here in the Captain's Choice loading bowl, which is one of Michael's favorite things to say. I do remember about Mike's that it's kind of a stringy lather, so let's see how it comes together here. First of all, I want to thank everybody who watched my last video about my wet tube observations. It was very well received. And of course, I got feedback from some people that I had expected to hear from, you know, my close friends and online associates, whatever you want to call them. But then I even heard from some people that I had never heard from before. And they were also very supportive. And so again, just want to give a big thank you to all of you who took the time to watch that. I know that was a long watch, but that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, thank you again for your comments, because that's the point I was trying to get across, is that we need to continue the discussion about how we can make our community a more welcoming, empathetic kind of place. 2 points of clarification that I'd like to mention. Two things that people kind of talk to me about the most were the in my opinion thing and the your mileage may vary thing. Now, of course, there is a time and place where it's appropriate to use those expressions, whether it's in shaving or in other aspects of life. And I just wanted to clarify that I don't mean that you should never ever use those words, but I just don't want people to use those words as a cop-out for critical thinking and being apathetic, basically. Sometimes I feel like with some of the people out there, they just say, well, your mileage may vary. And then they like stop talking about whatever they're talking about and don't, you know, again, either you can call it thinking critically or considering how someone else may view the same product. So that's the first thing. The second thing is a couple people mentioned the fact of, well, what if somebody doesn't want to have a, you know, serious review channel that goes, you know, as in depth as somebody like my channel does with all the products and whatnot. And I also wanted to clarify with that I have no issue if people want to, you know, have a bit more casual wet tube experience, like, you know, those guys, Paul H, Ken Surf, I think I'd mentioned them before. They don't go into as much detail, and well, maybe Paul does to some extent, but anyway, there's nothing wrong with you watching those guys, and if you think my stuff is too detailed, that's totally fine. But my point is that I don't want those guys, not that they do, but there are other people kind of adjacent to what they do, who, again, in lieu of adequate research and planning and all that stuff, they just spout, you know, nonsense, as I said last time. So again, I've got nothing wrong if somebody wants to just make shave videos and shave and be like, I like this. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't make up stories, you know, that are that you're insinuating about the artisan or the, you know, soap maker or whatever. So those are my two things about the last video. But again, I was really pleased with everybody who took the time to watch it and left me, you know, meaningful comments or emailed me meaningful things also. So again, thank you for that. We're starting to get where I want to be with this lather now. As I suspected, the citrus comes out a bit more once you lather it up. It was so weird, off the tub, or off the sample, it just smelled like flower, like Ylang. But now it smells much more well-balanced. So I think I'm gonna roll with this today. Very dense, creamy sort of feeling soap. It's got some butters in there, lanolin, tallow, so not totally surprising that this is what it feels like. So yeah, let me warm the razor up and I'll bring you back in for pass number 1. All right, we're gonna start with the Rockwell 6S on the 2-plate. I've got a Gillette Minora in there from South Africa on its second use. So back to Michael, because I'm supposed to talk to you about Michael today. I'm just talking about myself. Classic. He, of course, was one of those people that had a thoughtful response to my last video, so that's no surprise there. But yeah, one of the things I've always liked about Michael is that he tries to be as impartial, or sorry, that's not the right word, tries to be as unbiased as possible in his reviews. And when he's been asked about his review process over the years, even though he's in a semi-retirement now, we'll hope that it's just a retirement for the time being. When he's been asked about his review process, he's always answered candidly to the effect of, well, it's sort of a live by the sword, die by the sword review system, meaning that people send him stuff to review, and if it's good and all that, then he's going to give it a positive review, and if it's not, then he's not. I think that that answer usually comes up when people ask him if he's ever been like offered money to, like if people have offered to pay him to give a favorable review about the product, which I think he said he had been a couple times, but he always shut them down because he wanted to make sure that his review was ethical and honest and all those things. You know, one of the great examples, I think, of Michael being unbiased and honest is all those Yaki products, or Yaki, it's probably Yaki. He has done more reviews than, well, I won't say more, I don't know that for sure, but he's done a ton of reviews on Yaki razors, brushes, stuff like that. And those are usually very cheap, you know, kind of products. Like the brushes are no more than 20 bucks. Razors are maybe slightly more than that. But the point is, if Michael likes whatever brush or razor he's using from Yaki, he'll give it a positive review. Which, I know there are certainly some newer wet tubers, myself included, who would maybe be hesitant to give a product that cheap, made in China, such a stellar review, even if it did work well for us, because we have this feeling of like, oh, well, it's made in China, it's cheap, how could it possibly be good? And part of the thing that I'm trying to figure out more in this year of my hobby is how it doesn't have to be the most expensive thing, it doesn't have to be the newest thing to give you a great shape and be effective at what it does. And so again, those Yaki products are a great example of where Michael is a very positive influence on the wet tube world, let's say. So with that in mind, our first pass is done. Dried out a little bit on me here under the chin area, but pretty good like primary slickness on the soap. Let me rinse and I'll bring you back for pass number 2. All right, we're back. Man, that lather feels fantastic. In terms of a face feel, this is totally what you want right here, man. Woo, fantastic. So kind of similar to what Michael does with the Yaki products. One of the things that I also admire about him is how he will use anything, right? He uses the Yaki razors, he uses Wolfman razors, he uses vintage razors. On the software end, he'll use the newest thing from Declaration Grooming, but then he'll also use all of these European soaps that I would have never heard of as a young American wet tuber. So that's something that I'm also trying to incorporate more into my shaves this year, to see how many more European products, more international products I can review, because it's absolutely false to think that they're somehow inferior because they're not the newest, slickest thing from, say, Declaration Grooming. Although I love Scott over there, of course, I love his stuff, but Michael has this whole European persona too, which I think is great. He always pronounces everything with like as authentic of an accent as he can. I mean, it helps that he lived over there, right? But still, I think it really helps sell. Well, not sell. Sell's not the right word, but sell in an indirect way to his viewers that he really likes using this European stuff. So I'm gonna add in a little bit more water to this, just again, based on how the last pass felt there at the end. I'm having a much better time with this lather compared to when I reviewed the Hungarian lavender from Mike's however many months ago. All right, I think that's gonna be good. Let me get ready. I'll bring you back for the second pass. All right, second pass across and against the grain. Yep. Maybe it's one of my last points for Michael, is his generosity within the community, whether that's from piffing products, like for example this razor, which he first of all was very kind to loan to me because he knew how much I like the 6C, and he felt like this razor is slightly better, which it is in some ways. And so he just sent it along, and I remember it was the day I was about to post my review of it. He said, "Hey, do you like the razor?" And I said, "Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna post my video today." And then he said, "Oh, well, you know, if you want to keep it, you can just keep it." And I said, "You know, of course I'll keep it." So he's very generous in that way of, you know, I think he feels like he gets given so many products from all these vendors to try out and potentially post reviews of. So he's like, why shouldn't I pay it forward within the community too? Which he doesn't have to, you know, but he definitely does, which is fantastic. And then he's also generous in the sense that if you reach out to him and you have questions about stuff, he will talk to you, you know, and message you and email you or however you're getting in touch with him. He's very generous with his time too, which I think is also very admirable for somebody who's as well known in our community to be willing to give you his time and answer your questions, even if he doesn't really know you. So I certainly felt that way when I met him in person. We talked for hours throughout the meet, which was fantastic. And then since then, we've talked probably hours online too. So it's hard to hate somebody that gives away so much stuff and gives away so much of his time. Which brings me back to my opening point from last time about being empathetic and being kind within this community. There's that old saying, right? It's hard to hate someone you know, or it's hard to hate someone up close. I forget what way it is. Of course, don't live by that. If you get up close and they're a schmuck, then you can probably still hate them. But my point is, if we could have more people like Michael in our community, I think it would be a better place. People who review their products honestly, ethically, and who are just generous, right? Generous with donating stuff, generous with talking with people. Those are things that I value in my interactions with others and how I, perceive others too. So hopefully we just made it full circle there. Looks like this is going to be a long video too. Darn. That's feeling really good, by the way. Somehow, even though this is the 2-plate, it feels, which is what I've been using on the 6C, it feels a little bit more efficient actually, which doesn't make any sense at all. Maybe it was with the weight difference, my technique was compromised. Anyway, I'll do my final rinse and give you some closing thoughts over this Chatillon Luxe still. All right, for post shave, as mentioned, Chatillon Luxe La Petite Prairie. Need to work on my guttural R's in French. Okay, so this is his newest thing. Vetiver, citrus, floral, rhubarb, which has been a big point of discussion online, which I think is hilarious. I never knew so many people hated rhubarb. But did I say vetiver? Vetiver is maybe the strongest accord in this. I get a lot of it up front, but it's nicely complemented by the citrus, the florals, the rhubarb. It's a nice warm weather scent, I'd say. I have a sample of the EDT, and I'm not sure if I'm going to commit to a full bottle yet. There's something overly green about the dry down of that EDT. So we'll see how the splash performs for me today. Maybe its dry down will be more preferable, which I hope it is, because I already got the full bottle of this, right? So no big deal if I like it. All right, that was our shave today. Thank you all if you made it. Again, we're just talking. I do promise that the next video will maybe be more back to normal in terms of the review style, which, by the way, if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm totally just doing Michael's thing, where he uses a product for a week and then talks about it. I'm not doing anything different than what he did. So there's an Easter egg for you. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been HG Shaves. Let's keep the talk going. Leave me comments, send me an email, whenever you'd like, and I'll be happy to get back to you. So take care. Thanks. Bye.